Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 to the Q&A that I did last week or the week before, depending on when this video goes up. I told you guys I had a lot more questions that I never got to, and here they are, still saved because I never do the Q&As right away. So a lot of you guys said you love Q&As on that video, and I'll link part 1 down below for you. So if you didn't watch that one, go check it out. I'm going to jump right in because I want to answer all of the questions that I can. I will say, if it's a question I've been asked like for every single year, for example, how my husband and I met, look under this playlist because all of the other Q&As will have an answer to that question. I'm really trying to not answer questions I've answered repetitively. So let's jump in. The first question I have is from the Bratson's Doll Crew. How old am I? I am 34.75. Almost 35. And I am very proud about that. I am not someone that hates getting older. In fact, it really blesses me to get older. And I still feel really good. And I don't know, 35 to me, it's just another number, but it does sound in my brain like it's getting up there. So I don't know, but I feel good about it. House of Hein asked, what would I do about a friend who is a constant one-upper? Man. Well, I think it depends on how close of a friend they are. Because if they're a good friend and that's just like their one fault, then obviously sometimes it needs to be overlooked. If they're just a surface level friend and that's what they always do and it really is getting in the way of connection, then it might be time to just kind of let that friendship go. But please understand that anyone who is a one-upper is coming from a place of insecurity and feeling the need to always have something to say and reply to somebody else to make themselves feel better. So also try to have compassion and empathy for someone who is that deeply insecure that they can't listen to someone else tell them something cool that happened to them without that person feeling the need to tell you something that they did that's even better or very cooler. And you know, one thing that I've experienced more so than having a friend who's a one-upper is having a friend that no matter what you're going through in your life or no matter what difficult situation, if you tell them about your difficulty, their default is to talk about how things are so hard for them. So I don't know if we would call that a one-upper, maybe a one-downer, but it's hard to be friends with people like that. You can be friends, like I said, if they're a good friend, you can overlook it. But if it's just an acquaintance, I personally would find it really hard to connect with a person like that. So I would probably just let that friendship fizzle or keep it very surfacey, which who has time for that? The next one, Riley Fam 7, what are the red flags that it's time to get out of a mom's group? I think I mentioned this one in the last one because it caught my eye. I'm going to do a whole update video, you guys, on life since being kicked out of my homeschool group, and I'm going to share the red flags. I think I answered it actually in part 1 now that I'm thinking about it. So go check that out. But if I didn't, then it'll be in the next video. Let's see. Not a question. Wella tells me not a question, but since I'm in California, I was in California when I asked for questions. One of these times I should visit John MacArthur's church. I would love to do that. And maybe I'll plan that for the next time I'm out there. Alex and Alexandra Kozlov asked, will you make the video about getting kids into books at an early age? Yes, I will make that video. I'm giving you my word, pinky promise. Here we go. I will make that video. I'm going to write it on my list right after this. And it probably won't be the advice for everybody, but I'll just share what I've done that I think has created a love of reading in my home. And then you guys can pick and choose what advice you take. The next one is, this is from Jess Williams. Do I think my kids should be close friends with unbelievers? No. I don't think so. The Bible tells us to equally yoke ourselves, and there's a very fine line between being friends with someone that you want to bring to Christ, or that's your hope for them, or being like close where you're spending a ton of time. They're a major aspect of your life. I do not think that my kids should have close friends that are unbelievers, which I know some of you are thinking, well, family members. Yeah, but that's different, because family is family. It's not a choice. And I will tell you, it's very, very hard for your kids, or at least my experience, for my kids to have family members that are not believers. Not necessarily that they don't believe in God. They all might answer that question differently, but that they're not walking in fellowship with the Lord. There's a very big difference in the way that we live, and it's just difficult. So family, you don't have a choice to a certain extent, but friends, you do. And so no, I would not encourage that. But I will encourage my kids to be kind to everyone, and you never know who you might be planting a seed for the kingdom. So it's not that we avoid unbelievers, we don't, but I just don't think my Christian daughter or son should have a best friend who is an unbeliever. So I hope you understand what I'm saying there. These answers are never very easy to explain. Jess Williams also asked, am I involved in ministries at my church? I've been involved in ministry at the various churches that I have been to in different ways, at every church I've been to. So, yeah, I'm involved, but right now I'm not serving in a ministry capacity on like a regular basis, because I am here and this is my ministry, and I am not Jesus, so I can only handle about one ministry at a time. The next one is Brandy Bernardini asked, how did I instill a love of reading for my kids? Well, I'm going to do a whole video on that, but I will quickly just say the very first thing is don't make it stressful. The next one is from Anna Marie Morales. How do I organize household paperwork? Would it surprise you if I said I have binders and baskets for household paperwork? So you're probably meaning like bills. So I am the type of person that opens their mail immediately when it arrives. If it is a bill, it goes into a certain file that is to be paid, and the rest gets discarded. So I'll just rip off like the portion, so it's like mental evidence that that bill needs to be paid, and once it's paid, it's thrown away completely. For important documents, birth certificates, social security cards, all those things, we have a fireproof container that has all of that inside it. We add things in there that are like our living will and trust, and just anything like that that needs to get put away. And then anything that has to do with like in our travel trailer, or just any other miscellaneous type things, I have a binder that I keep that stuff in. So I'm pretty sure that's what you're meaning. So that's the way that I keep household paperwork organized. A note from Erica. Why was I wanting to read America? That really shouldn't have been that hard. A note from Erica. Easiest go-to meal at home, tacos. Kelsey De Leon, favorite YouTubers to watch. Okay, this has had me go through phases and stages depending on what I am interested in or enjoying at that moment. Confession, I only regularly watch this many YouTubers. This many right here. Like, if that, regularly. So I can tell you guys, if it's from Angie from This Gathered Nest or Angela Braniff, chances are I will watch the video. I'm not always the best at watching like right away, but I will watch it, and she is someone that I watch almost every single video she puts out. So I watch her videos regularly. So she's someone that I watch regularly. If my friend Jamie Kite puts out a video, I will watch it, even if it's like about homeschooling preschool and it has no real like applicable value to me. I will watch it just because I love her. Who else do I watch, you guys? Like, I really don't watch many YouTubers regularly. I enjoy, well, let's get into my phone and see who comes up, because I am really drawing a blank. Yep, there's Angie. She's first. Oh, okay, here's one that I always watch. I would have never, okay, Candace Owens, her new podcast type thing, but it's on YouTube and they're like 6 to 10 minutes. I love that because sometimes if I want to hear something, but I don't want to spend 40 minutes listening to a podcast on like Apple Podcasts, I love that she's doing this. So I watch Candace Owens. Oh, I do watch Megan Fox Unlocked. This is on like dressing for Mennonite women. I probably won't watch that one, but I do like to watch some of her videos. But here's the guy I wanted to tell you guys about. His name is Tyler Fisher, and he is a comedian. Go watch his videos, specifically his one on Gavin Newsom during the power outage thing in California, because I was visiting there during that. You will crack up and die laughing. He is hilarious. Tyler Fisher. So those are some of the YouTubers I've been watching lately. A note from Erica says, what are some things you do to help your kids with anger management or attitude adjustments? Time alone and separated from the situation seems to be the answer all the time for that. Let's see. I can't see the name of who asked this one, but it said, this one is funny. Mrs. Double DW says, who's your favorite member in the membership? You, of course. Thank you for being a member. Learning as We Grow 2.0 says, what is the world news website that you use? It's World Watch News, and I'll leave it linked down below. Mrs. Double DW asked, what is one thing you wish people would understand about you? Oh boy. Right now, the thing that's coming to mind is that just because I choose differently doesn't mean that I am saying it's the right choice or that I'm condemning you for making a different choice. That would probably be the thing right now. Another thing too is that although I am confident, I still have feelings, and so kindness goes a long way. Brittany Weber says, I'd love to hear my story of how I came to faith. Well, I recorded that in a 5-video testimony series on my membership. So if you want to hear that, you can join the membership and find those videos there, because way too personal, way too sensitive to be putting out for the masses of YouTube to, dissect it and rip it apart. Becca Boo 435 says, my number one marriage and parenting tip, I can only say one thing for each. I love this question. Okay, parenting tip is, oh man, I have so many. Okay, parenting tip, one thing, how can I say this? If you tell me the truth always, then you will never be in trouble. I think that is key. And number one marriage tip is assume the best in your spouse. Assume they have their best intentions. If they leave laundry on the floor, assume that they were just really busy and it wasn't intentional. Assume the best. Another one from Becca Boo 435, keeping it light. Favorite season, winter. Favorite movie, right now I'm thinking Top Gun, the second one. Favorite food, tacos. Favorite subject to teach, apologetics. Love that. Any plans for dual enrollment or AP classes exams as my kids move into 11th and 12th grade? Yes, for dual enrollment. The next set of questions is, What is my favorite subject to teach? I just do I think, or Wisconsin maybe. I like apologetics or Bible, and I like history a lot too. What is my favorite read aloud of all time? Wow, that is so hard to choose. My favorite read aloud of all time is probably one of the missionary stories from Christian Heroes Then and Now. Those were really impactful. Let's see. History and science for 2nd grade. This is our first year homeschooling. If you want to, you don't have to though. And then the last questions, I have 2 more to go. Will my son, Ashton Bray, asks, do drawings of dogs again? Didn't he do them on coffee mugs? Yes, he was. And he has. I've had some people reach out and say, like, I saw that and our dog passed away. We would really love it. And he's done them. The problem is that shipping those mugs is so expensive. And so, but he's like taking 5 hours of his time to draw the dog. So I can't make them like $15 and then that's how much they cost to ship. Then he's working for free. So we were running into a little bit of an issue with that, which is why he stopped doing as many as he was. But maybe he'll do them in the future, maybe just like and we'll have to charge for shipping. I'm not sure, but that's why he stopped. But if you have a special request, you can email me. It's down below and I can always ask him if he would be willing to do it. And the last question is from Real Tiffany Reynolds. What do I tell myself / do on a hard homeschool day? Well, I just did a whole video on this topic in the membership about how hard homeschooling days often, if not always, are because of our response to our children. We somehow expect our sinful children to be sinless, but we don't have that same expectation of ourselves. And so I talked about how being the mom, you are the thermostat of the home, meaning you can bring it up and you can bring it down. And so wouldn't it be nice if we all could bring it down instead of bringing it up on those hard days? But what I try to do is, number one, I try to remind myself that hard days don't last forever. I try to remind myself that hard parenting moments are teaching moments. I will sometimes literally ask myself, how would Christ respond? And if I don't know, I will pray and ask that. And I try to remember that that the whole reason we homeschool is for those days. It's for those days when our kids need us to walk through something difficult with them. It's for those conversations. It's for them learning to be respectful, amazing people. And it's for the betterment of your relationships. So on those hard days, I remind myself of the fact that God called me to this. God has equipped me, even if I feel very inadequate. That's because I am, but He is not. And so I rely on Him. I try to always. Sometimes I'm walking in my own strength for a period and then I'm humbled and brought right back to Him, to where it's like, no, I can't do this on my own. But I also try to remember that the way I respond is much more important than what my kids are doing, because I am the parent, so I should be acting in a manner that is more mature, more evident of self-control, more grace-filled, more loving, and I don't need to get on their level. So that's kind of the short version, but if you want to hear a whole 15-minute, 20-minute video on that, it's in the membership, which is linked down below. So a lot of these questions, it's so funny because I have whole videos on them, but they're in my membership because they're just not meant for the masses of YouTube. So if you're wanting like more faith-filled, spiritual encouragement, you know, like, I need help with this in my homeschool, chances are I have a video over there. So if you guys want to check it out, it's always linked down below. So thank you so much for sending in your questions and bearing with my slightly congested, cold sounding voice still. We're getting better, but I'm still not all the way there. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this Q&A. If you have any more questions for me, post them down below here so I can come back to this video the next time I do a Q&A, which I hope to bring about more regularly now that I know how much you guys love them. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again really soon. Bye, friends.